Okay, so it's morning time. They haven't been out yet. I was trying to catch her being nutty, but it took me a minute to get here. Had to wait for the old lady. Okay, so here's the other thing she started doing. I'll never let any of the big couches, big dogs don't go on the couch. So when she was first free roaming, when she would first get free time, never let up, right? Just kept from getting up. She'd get up there and I'd get her off, right? Off and pull her off. So she stopped even trying till we were free roaming. Then she'd get up there when I'd leave. When I'd walk in, she'd get right off. And now she doesn't. Now she's waiting for me to tell her to get off. And sometimes she's like, yeah, I ain't getting off anyways. So, and then just like a little side, a lot of people don't care. I just don't like to create that habit in case the people don't want it, right? And so therefore my guys also don't get up, so that way, except for this one, so that way it's less of a thing that they see that they can do, right? So, and then, so when she started free roaming, I still only brought her out on this first outing of the day, like 3 or 4 times a week. Look how good she is. You're such a good girl, right? And then she started getting nutty at the door. Like it was just a little wiggle butt. Then she started jumping all over the place, knocking all the dogs around. So these guys would be standing here just waiting for their leash, nice and cool. And she'd be like, boom, get out of the way, boom, get out of the way. And then fly around me here. So using food with a dopamine addict, highly food motivated dopamine addicts, right? Like the food gets her even more excited. So this is very nice. That's a very good girl. So watch, as soon as I get the food out, see her tail? I don't know if you can see her tail. Good. So the first couple times what I did is I went back to not taking her out all the time, because for a while I started taking her out every time and it got even worse. So I had to go back to not taking her on every one. And so when I did that, I would throw some food right here on the bed, right, when we'd leave. And then we'd leave and she'd have that food for right there. So the idea is she'll be busy with the food and I can get everybody's stuff so she's not jumping all over the place. Now I had to watch it because she also would get excited about it, right? So as long as she's over there and kind of excited, it's okay, because then at that point I could just ignore her. Now if you have 2 people and you're trying to do that, one person can leash her up and sit her over here while you take the others. All right, see this guy? Looks like I gotta poop. So let's see if she gets excited. Right, so see, we get the leash. Look. See, starting to jump and stuff already. That's not terrible though. That was the kind of stuff that I would let get by, right? Because it's kind of no big deal. And then, so at this point, she would be running over here to jump in front of me. So that's when I was using the food. Then I started just blocking her, right? So even with the food, she'd snatch the food up real fast and still try to come over and be a space invader. So I started just blocking her, right? So she would come this way and I just block her with my leg and she'd back up and then she'd do this. I'd be like, yeah, you're a good girl. But I stopped giving her food. Like even though right here, I was like, I'm not giving you food because it would jack her back up. And then all of a sudden I got to put the leash on and she's jacked back up because I rewarded this as very nice. Now you can go like this, good girl. Nice and calm and a little pet. I found is the pet to her is less valuable, so it's less likely to get her back jacked up, right? Willie, you gonna go? Right, so she starts to move around. See, look. See how excited she gets when she knows this ain't her leash. Right? but she's chilled out, so I can go, good job. Right? And so then this is where, when we were leaving a few times, I would throw the food so we would go because she would rush the door. She started rushing the door. And then so I did that a couple times, and then if she tried to rush the door, then I would just flip back and make her settle down. So it's been a weird, with her, it's been a weird use food like just a couple times, whereas usually you want to use the food a bunch of times so they really understand before you start using any kind of spatial pressure or anything. With her, it had to be 2, maybe 3 times, and then it had to be pressure because the food gets her jacked up, whereas the pressure makes her more like this, right? So let's see if she tries to rush it. All right. I let her get off too far. All right. Now this, who cares? Who cares what she does once you're out? Right, here, look into it. Now we're gonna settle her down. Right, see? See how she gets? Just with the leash. So for a while, I was putting the leash on like this, but look at her tail. See her tail going? And I'm not looking at her. Look, you look at her on the side. Sammy's gonna yell. Right. So she's a little settled down. She's trying to figure out what she's supposed to do. You just need to settle down. Sammy? Right, so there she kept her head back. She didn't bring it forward. If she would have brought her head forward, you pull the leash back. And if she's really pushy about it, you put the leash up and you leave her, take her by herself. But she probably needs more of that anyways. Okay. Right, the release, always really calm. All right, we gotta go.